and let us all do we can to build a better future.
I hate censorship.
Yeah.
I hate it. I
do
truly do. So Colin, were you surprised that there were so many brain dead idiot people that never heard of Pink Floyd or The Wall?
No, I'm not surprised at all. And shout out to Roger Waters. I went to his concert when he performed in DC last summer. Amazing show. If you're able to go see it, I think now he's touring in Europe. So if you ever get a chance to see Roger Waters in concert, go. But it's so interesting how. But I think this kind of shows the sign of the times, especially given like the 60s, 70s, people were a little more radicalized at that time. And since then, people have just become more establishment that they've forgotten their radical roots. And now they're kind of going off on Roger in the way that they were for many, many years ago. I just think it's kind of weird that how that shift has happened, just due to the propaganda that we're being spoon fed, since the 70s.
Okay, so here's the thing. There was a movie, and God damn it, it's skipping my mind now. But there's a great scene where they're talking about the state of society and how the 1960s was the last real moment of human free thought, where we challenged the system. And what happened afterwards? Yes, there was the 70s, but as we progressed into the 80s, it was more of everybody go to work, everybody fit in the machine. Everyone's part of the wall, and I don't think anyone did this. We got slow cooked. We got slow cooked in the boiling water, and it's just interesting to me that people don't understand, or in calling for Roger Waters to be censored, or for him to be held accountable for what is obviously satire. That the key word is satire. Roger Waters isn't just going to wake up one morning, put on Himmler's uniform, and be like, all right, everyone, let's have fun and join the Nazi party. No, but you have brain-dead idiot people who, again, feel, and I want to pull up this article from RT just to trigger the vote blue no matter who people. That's why that's why I pull up RT, just to get the vote blue no matter who crowd angry, just to get them upset, just to get their panties in a bunch. Roger Waters, subject of criminal probe over anti-Nazi satire. Okay, so there it is. All right, so this is a show,
right?
It's theater,
right?
I have to say, Colin, sometimes I still get surprised on how dumb people are.
Right,
I still do, and I'm like, gee, Kit, you really hold people to a high standard, don't you? And unfortunately, I do, because again, I could go on where many times where I watched the program and I thought, okay, maybe all the hate towards this program or this movie is over exaggerated. Like, oh, geez, Kit, and you give too many, you give people the benefit of the doubt. So the German police have launched a criminal investigation to English rock legend and Pink Floyd co-founder Roger Waters on suspicion of glorifying Nazism during 2 concerts in Berlin. The musician has insisted the performance was in opposition to fascism, which is what it's always been about. On Friday, in a statement, quote, by several media outlets, the Berlin police said that Waters was suspected of inciting hate. And that the probe, again, inciting hatred, and the probe was centered around his performances on May 17th and the May 18th in the German capital. In footage posted on social media, the musician can be seen wearing a leather trench coat. That is not a Nazi uniform, okay?
No,
I have seen Nazi uniforms. No, the answer is no. With 2 crossed hammers and a red R-band. He then proceeds to take a mock gun and shoot into the crowd, which is how it's always been done.
Right.
Oh, my God. German police, media outlets, outraged crowd who don't like Roger Waters. Have you not? You cannot place this. You cannot be this stupid. I refuse it. And I know people don't want me to yell, but come on. Bounds of reason here, right? So the context of the closing is deemed capable of approving, glorifying, or justifying the violent, arbitrary rule of the Nazi regime in a manner that violates the dignity of the victims and thereby disrupts public peace, the police said. Nazi-related symbols are outlawed in Germany, with an exception of being made for educational or artistic purposes. So then what the fuck? This is again.
Right.
Here. Hold on. This, The Wall, live in Berlin, 1990. Hello, this is on IMDb. German police, are you acting on this case that took place in 1990? Because it's 2023 right now. You're a little bit late. Look at the rating score right there. Look at that. Look at all these people here. Look, writer, Roger Waters, directors, happened in 1990. I was just a wee little boy. So look at this. Right? Oh my goodness, taking place here. You could all read it. Look at this. Okay? And this was shot on no man's land between East and West Germania. So look at this. Look, all-star cast too. All-star cast. Here, let's look at the people who were there, who were part of it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where is it at? Where? Oh, you're not going to show me the cast? Oh, you bastard. Oh, wait. I think. Oh, wait.
There we go.
Me being stupid. I just scrolled past it. So you got Bryan Adams. You got the band. You got Tim Curry. That crazy man right there. Look at all these people. They're all here. Hey, German police, are you going to go after all of them too for a show that took place in 1990? Hello? Yeah, probably not. Colin, I want to give the floor to you.
I think it's kind of amazing. I've said this on INM before, like, you remember like the 90s and the comedians back then, and just the things that they were able to say back then that we knew it was a joke or in jest or in kind of poking fun at the establishment. Like, we were all having I think it was easier back then to recognize that that's what it was, and people pay, and with a few exceptions, but general rule of thumb, people didn't take as much of an offense back then to that. And now it's like everyone's kind of getting butthurt in terms of trying to be more politically correct, that certain things now you can't say anymore in fear of you being canceled. And I just think, especially for me growing up in the 80s and 90s where this was a lot more commonplace, I feel like honestly back then people had better senses of humor back then, or at least were able to recognize that what they were saying was almost like a nudge at reality, that it was easier for people to laugh at. Yeah. And that's not the case now. And but again, I just feel like that's more the propaganda / suppression in terms of people being a little more aware of the reality that we are living in. And people like Roger Waters, who has been consistent in his career in music in terms of calling out the establishment. And I think now people are starting to wake up to that. And as I say, you can't have an awake proletariat, because then it gives more of a reason to actually speak up and speak out and actually force direct action, which is what the establishment doesn't want. So they want to keep people as blind and as asleep as possible, and Roger Waters is a part of that. Unfortunately, now I think that people are beginning to catch up to him now, in terms of the music and the art that he has produced for decades. But this is to be expected, and he said this, like, I don't care, I'm going to continue doing it regardless.
As he should.
So shout out to him for that. So if anything, that should give us an example of how we should be living, just unafraid. And in the words of Paul Mooney, and I played like one of his skits, a week ago, you're either busy running free or running scared. And I'm choosing as best as I can to run free. So, and others should be given the incentive to do the same thing.
I would also like to say too that I've been noticing the way media and entertainment, again, I've been seeing it for quite some time, especially after the Trump presidency, that there are certain things that you cannot talk about, and how stories now, comic books, movies are being reimagined into where entertainment is being turned into a lecture. And there's if you want to go to a lecture, fine. And a story can tell something that's very relevant. But, and again, we're seeing the way art is being constrained under a new form of Puritanism, under a new form of censorship. Now, if people are easily offended or get triggered by what Roger Walters and the performance of The Wall does to them, listen, take your pouting somewhere else and go ahead and turn off the TV or put down your phone. No one is holding a gun to your head to watch Pink Floyd The Wall or Roger Waters or Hard Lens Media or any other form of entertainment or movie, all right? If there's something I don't like, I'm not going to watch it. Simple as that. 1, 2, 3. That's an adult decision that everyone can agree with. But no, we're dealing with people who want to be in control of censorship and control a message. So I want to pull up this video from CNN. I don't want to play too much into it because it's CNN.
Fair use.
Hey CNN. Hey CNN. So they covered on. They talked about it a little bit. They talked about it. They talked about it.
What's this goober gonna say?
Is under investigation.
Hold on, wait. But listen to the music. It sounds like dun 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 dun. Like, again, CNN. Who's running your program?
A rock star is under investigation, accused of incitement. Berlin police have confirmed that Roger Waters, the co-founder of the legendary band Pink Floyd, is now being investigated after he wore a costume resembling a Nazi uniform at 2 concerts last week. CNN's Scott McLean is covering the story for us from London.
Okay, if you're hearing that music, I had to double check that I wasn't playing one of my video games, okay? Because that sounds like a mission briefing, because I like to play like Total War or one of these real-time strategy games where like you're listening to your officers say, all right, you must take this objective. I'm wondering like what the hell's playing in the back? And I was realizing it was CNN. It was goddamn CNN playing. Like what the hell? Like, hold on. You're making Roger Waters. It's like, oh, we must stop Roger Waters from performing the Wall, or else.
London. Scott, what are German police saying about his appearances?
Hey, Boris. First off, this requires a lot of context, obviously, on both sides. First off, the costume itself is worn as part of a performance of the 1979 album The Wall, in which the protagonist hallucinates that he is a fascist dictator.
Hallucinates.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, so I gotta give credit to CNN just for this. I know, one moment. At least they acknowledge that.
It looks like a Nazi uniform. It has the red armband and everything.
No, it doesn't.
Swastika.
Look, it doesn't look anything like a Nazi uniform. It doesn't.
It has 2 crossed hammers, which is imagery that you'll find associated with that album. It is meant to be satire. He's actually been doing it for decades, but this is the very first time that it's attracted a German criminal investigation. But the Berlin police have justified it like this, saying the context of the clothing worn is deemed capable of approving, glorifying, or justifying the violent and arbitrary rule of the Nazi regime in a manner that violates the dignity of the victims and thereby disrupts public peace. Now, the performance itself has been controversial for a long time, so much so that the city officials in Frankfurt actually tried to force the venue for this coming Sunday's concert to cancel it. It ended up in a German courtroom. And according to The Guardian, the court ruled that though the performance uses symbolism manifestly based on that of National Socialism, it did not glorify or relativize the crimes of the Nazis or identify with Nazi racist ideology. After that court ruling earlier this month, Waters spoke to a podcast about the performance. And
so I don't want to play any more of CNN because CNN is, again, a crap network. But at least they look. Here's the thing: Berlin police and anyone else that's triggered by Roger Waters, vote blue no matter who. A concert took place in 1990. 1990.
And that was fine then.
It was
fine, but it didn't get people he and hawing back then. But
well, I think there's a lot of people who are also, because of the way the media landscape is now, because everything's being censored, or you've got people being force fed messages by media corporations And when you see the lackluster products that being made by Warner Brothers or Disney or Netflix or Lucasfilm or any other form of entertainment or industry, what it is, they're force feeding you what they want you to think, right? But the
Yes.
thing is, what I have to say about all these people who are consuming up, oh, yay, Disney's being diverse, Disney's doing this. No, folks, Disney is just doing that to get suckers not to think for themselves, right? And I think there's a lot of people who are now suffering from the fact that we are living in a creatively bankrupt era.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, just so you know, if they ever successfully thaw out Walt Disney, do not look forward to speaking to him. It's not going to be the friendly, Tom Hanks version of Walt Disney. No, it is. It as soon as Walt Disney gets unthawed out, he is going to say, "Who let these people into my park?" And it's not going to be a very friendly these people. He's going to have a couple other slurs to say because good old Walt was an avid supporter of a guy, first name Adolf, last name Hitler.
Right.
Just throwing it out there. I want to pull up this video of Roger Waters speaking in Frankfurt because he did the show in Frankfurt. Your thoughts, real quick. I
mean, one of the rare times I actually want to give credit to CNN for actually being fair in it. Well, in their coverage and kind of saying, yeah, like. The German court basically was like, no, there's not a problem here, and it shouldn't have been since it hasn't been a problem before. But that's still not gonna, if anything, that's gonna get the shit lips more mad, So to them, I could say stay mad, because
exactly,
So yeah, but we've seen this kid, I think, in this space, and I think Roger has been doing this for quite a long time, and he's aware. And I went to his show last year and he basically said, if you're going to be offended, leave, because he makes that statement before every show, at least the show that I went to. He said there's going to be imagery that might piss some people off. I want you to be here to learn. I want you here to have a good time. I want you to enjoy the artistry and the music. And if you're going to be offended by that, you can go.
Exactly. Thank you.
So
Go ahead.
That's he says that every show. So there really shouldn't be any excuse as to why people are offended by them when you have the choice to leave. If something offends you.
Yeah. I fear that we are entering into an era, or not fear. We are in an era of creative bankruptcy. And I could go on a tirade about how I feel about the large media outlets. And their lackluster productions that they have recently been crapping out. But that's a story for another day. So I want to end this segment with the commentary of Roger Waters being in Frankfurt. Because you know what? I'm tired of the censorship. I'm tired of the suppression. So let's play it. It's about 6 minutes, but hey, folks, we got ourselves a big show today. So let's enjoy it.
Show tonight is a tiny bit different than all the other shows we've done in Germany up until this point. In fact, all the other shows we've done anywhere. We did quite a lot of shows in North America and in Mexico, and now we've been all over Europe. All right, I'll plunge in because this is a somewhat delicate subject, okay? And it means an awful lot to me, for all kinds of different reasons. But at the beginning of the second half of this show, we do 2 songs from the war. And they're 2 songs from the bit where, back in 1979, when I wrote the bloody thing, I wrote a theatrical section where I dress up as a demagogue, sort of a Nazi demagogue, if we're honest about it. And I am honest. I'm extremely honest. And we've been doing that all over the world. But if any of you have read the newspaper in the last few days, you'll see that after the shows that we did in Berlin and the one in Prague, Prague was only important because we did a live stream video of that show. So finally people were able to get tons and tons of video of this. Anyway, they used the fact that I was wearing a leather coat, okay, as part of the narrative that explains to anybody who picks up a newspaper anywhere that I'm a raging Jew-hating anti-Semite, which, friends, I can tell you this here, because we're all in the bar together. I'm not.
Do you hear that? Vote blue no matter who. If you can't understand satire, then shut the hell up.
I'm not. I never have been. Even since I was a little boy walking around the house, with my mum and all her friends, and it was just after the Second World War. Anyway, that's sort of beside the point, except it isn't beside the point, because with the daft youth leaping up on stage with this Israeli flag just now, and putting me off, by the way, that's quite unnerving to have some strange young man leaping about when you're trying to remember what your lines are and what song you're singing next. But anyway, I'm losing my thread. So, no, here it is. So tonight, I'm not going to wear the leather coat. And I'll tell you why this is special and why it's special here tonight, because I've read everything that I could find that explains the point of view of the people who... There were a few people protesting outside earlier this afternoon. I'm happy to say that some of my band went out and mingled, and I'm really happy. One of them sent me pictures of people who were saying, Roger, welcome to Germany. Oh my God, do you know how much that meant to me? After all the bullshit I've been going through for the last few years. Yeah! Yeah! Thank you! Thank you. It's not, because believe me, it may look like a doddle, but being vilified in the way I have been, for something that is completely untrue, blatant lies. And I could sit here for an hour and explain the narrative as it's developed over the years, since I went to Palestine and saw what was going on there. Okay, you can, listen, we're in the bar, but I don't know if that was people whistling in approval of the fact that I've been to Palestine, or people saying, shut up.
I just also want to say this too, and Colin, I like your thoughts on this too. Look, we're all entitled to our own perspectives and points of view, but when it gets to the point to where you want to censor somebody or silence them, be prepared for one day for you to be silenced and censored. I don't like censorship. And even if there are channels that disagree with me or content creators that, I don't follow, I don't want them to be censored. I don't want them to be silenced. So, Colin, take it away.
No, I agree. Just, it's okay to disagree with folks, guys. I see this on the left which unfortunately I think just within this bubble, there's almost a sentiment where if you're on the left, that you have to agree on every issue that it's kind of, popular or whatever. And that's not the case, guys. Especially, I'm a person of color and I'm an immigrant. So I'm going to have, being on the left, I'm going to have a different view on certain things than, let's say, Kit does, or Jimmy Dore does, or even RBN does, or any of my colleagues on INN do, and we disagree on issues or variances of those issues. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean I'm going to cancel any of these folks just because they don't agree with maybe the 5 to 15% of things that I do. If anything, that's going to give me cause to be in a conversation with them and have them kind of understand, tell me why you think this way, and have the opportunity that they're able to hear on my perspective. And that's what we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even in that, that's a problem for folks, because people are afraid that you might actually agree. And I think that might be the true issue, is that if people share with you their perspectives, then you might begin to understand that you might be able to relate to them or be in solidarity with them. And then they might kind of coalesce around those understandings. And the establishment can't have that. So it's easier to kind of use our differences to kind of say they don't agree in this and then that, where that could be the very area that you can gain more understanding if you're willing to have a conversation with them. And I think especially on the left, we need to be careful, but at the same time have to be willing to have those conversations, because I think there is some diversion of thought even on the left, that there's certain people who say, if you don't agree exactly as I do, then you're not truly on the left, which I think is bullshit.
I agree. I want to pull up the rest of this video here and let's just check it out, because again, it's important that we hear his voice.
I've no idea. I hope the former. All right, I'll stop talking. Anyway, so why is it important? We're in the festival. I know all about Kristallnacht. I know all about the 8th, 9th, 10th of December 1938. I've known about it all my life. It's part of something that I've always been aware of. Okay? I'm that age that we know about this. So I feel for the people who are concerned about desecrating this place. This, if you like, shrine to the memory of the men who were taken from there. I feel for them. So that's why I'm making this small.
And just a side note, again, he was born on September 6th in 1943. That was during the Second World War, folks, okay?
Right.
So when he says he knows, so as a little kid growing up, he's probably hearing stories of what, I don't know, what the Battle of Britain was like.
Right, especially given that time frame living during the Blitz,
yes,
which I grew up in the UK as a kid, so that's basically all I heard growing up as a kid was the Blitz, the Blitz, the Blitz. You know, so that, even though he was extremely young, but that would have shaped his thinking in terms of him growing up in the aftermath in the UK shortly after that, in the 50s and 60s. So, and he talks about that in the show. You know, just how a lot of what he saw coming from the war, and then growing up in the 60s, he was basically a teenager, early 20s in the 60s. That's what caused him, you know, that's how essentially Pink Floyd came to be, you know, out of that time and just what they were all exposed to, his former band members at that time. So that's his art.
Plus,
which is based out of his experience. And, you know, and I feel that's very wrong to kind of deny a person to not speak on issues because you don't agree or haven't necessarily lived those experiences. He has the right to.
I also want to pull this up here too, because again, just so in case people who want to cancel Roger Waters, his father was a conscientious objector, and he drove an ambulance during the Blitz. Holy cow. Wow, that's incredible. What heroism. And then number two, he actually did join the Territorial Army and was serving overseas. He served in the Battle of Anzio, and he died. He was killed on February 18th, 1944. And Roger Waters' earliest memories is the Victory over Japan Day, which, for those who don't know, the United States was the only global superpower to use a weapon of mass destruction, not once but twice on another nation. So, obviously, vote blue no matter who. I get that you're triggered by Roger Waters, but do you know what you're doing, or are you just agreeing with the group think?
Right.
I hope significant gesture tonight. So when the second half starts and the banners don't come down, that's why. And I'm not wearing a leather coat. That is why. It's to show that I can't possibly understand the feelings of the relatives of those men, or what it was like in 1938 in Frankfurt and all over the rest of Germany. But I do know the history, and my heart is beating hard now. All right, so I'll say no more. But that's the reason that we've changed the show.
I want to stop right there. But I also want to address one thing here too. You know, I know that Trump triggered a lot of people. He says a lot of mean things. I get that people are upset when we criticize their favorite politician. But see, politics is open for criticism. These politicians are open and deserve to be criticized. But when we're in a day and age where criticism or commentary is being censored, music is being censored, what world do you want? What's the end goal objective? Only everyone can think like how you think? Well, what happens then when everyone else is being censored and people you like to be censored? See, evil and censorship go hand in hand because it creates a world in which there is no creativity, no hope.
It's funny that
Go ahead. I'm going to give you the
are-
final word. I'm going to give you
yeah.
the final word.
it's funny that people are going against Roger Waters for allegedly dressing up as a Nazi when they support us giving money to Ukraine that has an increased Nazi sentiment, and that has been reported. You know, Hakeem Jeffries wrote a letter back, I think, in 2014, 2013, saying this, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? So it just makes no consistency, no sense, makes no sense whatsoever. So, you know, it's sad that Roger Waters
Yeah.
had to change his show just due to this. I think is bullshit. At least he's still able to do it. But the
Yeah.
idea that he had to change his art where it hasn't been a problem before, I think is very sad.
I would say this to Roger Waters. You're more than welcome to be on any of our platforms, be it INN, Hardlands Media. We would love to have you on for you to explain more, because I think people want to censor him. And the thing is, Roger Waters has been correct on a lot of issues and calling out the media and the politicians for who they really are. Outstanding commentary, Collins. Folks, stand against censorship.